Good morning, Tessa.
Good morning, Core. How was the night?
No unusual incidents. My scanners detected that you had an uneasy sleep.
Slightly creepy, but correct. It's not great sleeping in a spacesuit. As if crashing wasn't bad enough for my poor bones. We should get going to find out more about the signal and the light. Then we'll see if there's a chance to escape. Or if I'll be turning into a fossil here.
Would you like me to read you some motivational quotes from my database? Even the longest journey begins...
For heaven's sake, don't. I've already got a headache. Maybe we can find something interesting out there. That makes me feel better. Okay. Core, has the signal changed at all?
Negative. It is unchanged and still active at the same strength and same relative distance.
I can't see the light anymore. Oh well. Whatever it is, the signal might be useful. Maybe I can repurpose it. Can you fly ahead and scan the ground to tell me where I can walk?
Confirmed.
So far, so good.
You made it look quite easy.
Thanks. That wasn't my first climbing session. But as I thought, I won't be able to get back to the ship's wreckage.
It would be logical to not waste time and instead look ahead, as long as the signal is active.
Somehow I've got the feeling we're going to ask ourselves where ahead even is. I hope ahead doesn't mean through the undergrowth and straight into some animal's mouth.
My sensors would register any animal with Tessa-sized mouths.
How reassuring. There's a swarm of insects here. They look like oversized mosquitoes, sucking on the plant and glowing. So they're the ones causing these strange lights in the swamp. Seems to be some form of bioluminescence.
These are the small life forms that I registered.
They're as big as rats.
This is a dense network of individual plant fibers that extend underground for many kilometers. They are all part of the same species and leave no room for others. The signal is coming from this direction.
A large bubble that formed on the swamp water. A bit disgusting, really. I can't reach it. There was nothing special on this side of the swamp. It all looked the same. And the path seems to be just back here. We have to use the signal as a guide. These remind me more of corals than of plants. They're even moving slightly, but apart from that, they seem uninteresting.
Corals on Earth are more akin to animals than to plants.
Tony would have been delighted to try and find out what exactly these things are. Wow, this plant is in bloom. Finally, a little bit of color on this hunk of rock. But the smell isn't exactly what I would call infatuating or appealing.
Neither would I. Then again, I have no smell receptors. In any case, this smell is not meant to attract us. We are strangers to this world.
Thanks for reminding me, Cor. I almost forgot. But from a scientific standpoint, I am interested why this one is in bloom while the others are not. Not that the answer would help me out. An impressive flower. Long, strange fibers are hanging out of it. Incredible how dirty, brackish, green, lentic, stinking water can give life to all sorts of creatures. But we humans are disgusted by it.
This disgust prevents you from drinking it and transporting all kinds of bacteria and parasites into your organism. Tessa.
Thanks for the reminder.
The plant is in bloom and it's made these fibers soaked with an oily liquid. The signal is coming from this direction.
They're oily and sticky. Maybe to catch pollinators like a spider's web.
I will be careful.
I'll cut them off as far up as possible, but I'll leave most of them. I'm sure the plant needs them to survive. They're too tough to pull out together, and pulling them out individually would take ages. A swarm of insects happily feasting on a plant. They look like blown-up mosquitoes and are glowing green and yellow. I think they're ignoring me.
In this place, they are too far away to reach.
A swarm of insects happily feasting on a plant. They look like blown-up mosquitoes.
You'd better not get that close.
They're getting uneasy, but are staying put. Maybe the smell is agitating them. I'll be careful. Don't want to burn them. And who knows, they might be vengeful creatures. That was a bit much. They flew away.
The signal is coming from this direction.
This just keeps getting better. Wouldn't it be nice if life was easy?
Intergalactic Mining Corporation. No progress without obstacles.
Yeah, I know the propaganda.
Do you know the slogan's origin?
I may have mild amnesia, Cor, but I know that I always deliberately disregarded that information.
The IMC's legendary founder, Walter Knight, derived his worldview and ethics from the video games he so thoroughly enjoyed playing. If there are no obstacles or problems in your way, then you're going in the wrong direction, is what he always said. You should be on the lookout for obstacles. Hence, no progress without obstacles.
I thought some overpriced advertising company had come up with that slogan. But it's even worse. He came up with it while wasting his time on video games. Well, I guess he wanted to appear more down-to-earth, our Mr. Knight. And that's how people actually see him. because they bombarded us with the slogan in every commercial.
My market research data shows a correlation between the slogan's frequent repetition and the IMC's customer ratings.
How nice for the IMC. Okay, obstacles. So that means we should be heading towards those mountains over there. They count as an obstacle, right?
Correct. The signal is still about 4.1 kilometers away.
And how are we going to get down there?
Unfortunately, I have no data on how to overcome real-world obstacles.
I once spent a week on a planet with a similar view. Back then, I planned every expedition in a way that I could enjoy that view as much as possible. Now, I'd almost be happy to see the boring interior of a functioning spaceship instead, and without any surprises. But only almost. A lake that this huge plant grew into. It almost extends right up to my cliff. Only about 20 or 30 meters deeper. A huge plant that broke through from above and grew into the lake.
There are insects sucking on it, glowing.
If it's growing upwards, it has to be somewhere on this plateau.
That is to be assumed. There are many here, but it is not clear which one it is.
A huge crack in the rock wall. Looks like the plant broke through from above. If we find that rift, we might be able to climb down on the plant.
Or we find the plant itself.
I'm sure I've already been close to this ledge. It's part of this plateau I'm on after all. But even if I was right above it, it's still too much of a descent. The roots here have grown to become a net-like mesh. Unlike the others, these insects are glowing red. I'll be careful. Don't want to burn them. And who knows, they might be vengeful creatures. That was a bit much. I can see something beneath it. Oh, and it reeks. Oh, that's a dead animal. Or, well, what remains of it. Looks like it's been dead for a few days. It's got feathers. Is that
a toucan?
What? No, that's impossible. It has to be some other animal that just looks very similar. I don't know how it died, but it lost a lot of blood afterwards, which then ran down into the water. There is no way, and I mean no way, that I'm going to touch that thing, poke around in it, or take any part of it with me.
As an explorer, you should be more professional. Look, there's a really thin bone over there.
I am an explorer, not a pathologist. Ugh. What about the bone?
You could use it as a lockpick.
Who programmed you to have such crude ideas? That's just absurd. There is no way, and I mean no way, that I'm going... The water in this pond is very shallow, and has been colored red-brown thanks to that animal's blood. It's protruding from this red water here. There was nothing special on this side of the swamp. It all looked the same, and the path seems to be just back here. But we also need some kind of reference point that we can follow. The signal will only take us to the edge.
The signal is coming from this direction and is about 4.1 kilometers away. There is a 29-meter descent here with nowhere for us to climb down. The only way up appears to be this plant that has broken through the cliff over there.
Can you follow it?
The plants are too thick and their materials are too similar. My sensors cannot distinguish between the data.
Unlike the others, these insects are glowing.
The insects appear to be taking in the blood from the water through the plant. My scan was unable to detect any changes within the plant. However, the signal is coming from this direction.
There was nothing special on this side of the swamp, but we also need some. There was nothing special on this side of the swamp. It all looked the same. And the path seemed. But we also need some. I don't want to burn them, just rile them a bit. Let's see. The smell is making them uneasy, but they're not leaving. Let's see. They're burning well. But mostly they're producing lots of smoke. They won't do me much good here on the ground. I can't combine or affect a broken off lever made of heat-proof surface. The net is too loose-knit for these insects. And even though I might be very imaginative, I can't see myself needing a bag full of alien mosquitoes. A plant growing beyond the crater's edge. It's gonna be like a bridge soon, but it's too slippery to walk on even though it's got small indentations.
A visual analysis shows that your bridge comparison is mainly unjustified. I would register it thus: mossy, slippery, unclimbable, leafy plant. And likes it moist and shady. Fertilize once a month. The crater is about 1.9 meters deep. The water inside is at a level of 1.4 meters. The blue color seems to come from a reaction with the meteorite's salty elements. The signal is coming from this direction.
A small crater filled with blue-tinged, slightly strange-looking water. There's a blue, metallic, and shimmering object at the bottom that is made of metal and salts. It might be what's causing this coloration. This plant seems to be dead and dried up, even though there's water in this crater. Looks like all the other plants had the same fate. And there aren't any insects here either.
My sensors indicate that the roots of these plants have been damaged and the capillary vessels have been blocked by salt residue. The plant died of thirst.
Completely dried up.
They will not help us.
The indentations are pretty soft, and I don't have to make them any larger. That would just cause liquid to come out, making the plant more slippery. I don't see what that would do. I won't be able to do anything with this. I wonder if burning them would do anything.
What purpose would that have? They might not burn at all. That would be a waste. If they do burn, however, you might be faced with a bigger problem, even if we disregard the potentially toxic fumes.
It was just an idea. I think I was a bit of a pyromaniac as a kid.
The crater is about 1.9 meters deep. The water inside is at a level. The blue color seems to. The signal is coming from this direction.
There is no way, and I mean no way, that I'm going to... They're getting uneasy, but are staying put. Maybe the smell is agitating them. Let's see. They're burning well, but mostly they're producing lots of smoke. They won't do me much good here on the ground. There was nothing special on this side of the swamp. It all looked the same. But we also need... The signal came from this direction. The source must be somewhere on the lower plain behind these mountains. My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius, and I will have my vengeance? But apart from vengeance, this won't help me. I can't attach it to the pole. That might be useful. There has to be something in this labyrinth of plants that can help me out. There is no way, and I mean no way, that I'm going to touch that thing, poke around in it. The net is too loose-knit for these insects. And even though I might be very imaginative, I can't... No, I can't extend it any further. These remind me more of corals than of plants.
Corals on Earth are more
Tony would have been delighted to try. They don't have any interesting properties that would make... They don't have any interesting... Incredible how dirty, but we humans are...
This disgust prevents...
Thanks for the There was nothing special on this side of the swamp. But we also need some... There was nothing special on this side of the swamp. But we also need some kind... A swarm of insects happily feast.
In this place, they are too... You won't reach these insects, Tessa.